What up, Prophet Leaders? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about building codes and constructing new buildings. If you're new to this channel, click the subscribe button and go ahead and click the notification bell so that you can see new videos whenever I post them. If you are not a new subscriber, you've always been a subscriber, make sure you have the notification bell clicked so that you can see those new videos as soon as they are posted online. A lot of people have been telling me, they aren't seeing my videos anymore, that perhaps I'm not making YouTube videos anymore, and then I remind them that I make videos regularly, I post them regularly to YouTube, and that's probably because the reason why they're not seeing these videos is because YouTube keeps changing the algorithm. That is the algorithm that shows you which videos to watch next, and if you are not able to see my videos, it's because you don't have the notification bell on. So go ahead and click the like and subscribe button, as well as notification bell if you're new to this channel or if you've been a returning viewer. Today we want to talk about building codes and building a new house. Now, if you've been following the news recently, you see that the price of real estate is going through the roof. There's already a real estate bubble in North America, especially in the US. Price of houses have now reached past where they were in 2008, and if you want to buy a house, you're going to end up in a bidding war where you have to outbid 10 to 12 other competitors, and you'll end up paying probably $30,000-$40,000 above the listed price for the house. So in a situation like this, you want to consider building your own house, right? The next best thing is to construct your own house. And these are the 8 things that you must know before you build a house. Now, I've done this research for Guyana, for Georgetown, Guyana, but I'm sure that some of it applies, or most of it applies to anywhere else in the world. So let's go. Number 1, the first thing you need to know before constructing your house or before attempting to build your own home is you need to know what the building codes are. You need to know what the zoning is. So for example, right now I'm about to build a modern home. I'll put a picture of it over here. I'm about to build a modern home, and part of it is going to be business. So on one floor of it I'm going to have a business, and on the other floors I'm going to have living and storage and so on. So how do I know if I'm in the correct zone to build this house? I need to find the building codes, and the only way to do that in Guyana is you need to visit the city engineers. So the next thing I did is I went over to the city engineers and had a chat with the building inspector, and this is the first thing they will ask you. Number 3, you need to have transport for the property that you wish to build on. In other words, you need to have the land, you need to know where the location is, and the transport will provide information about the property boundaries, the dimensions of the property, and where it is located in relation to the corner, where it is located in relation to the streets. In other words, whether it's the first lot that is the first house in the lot, or whether it's a house behind the first house, and what are the dimensions of the plot of land that you're on. So that's number 3. You need to have a transport. Now you also need to have a transport because the building codes that you're seeking apply to the location of the property and the dimensions of the property. So there are no building codes in Guyana. There's no document you can go look up and say, well, these are the building codes for building construction in building new property in Guyana. What you have to present is the transport to the city engineers, and from the transport, the city engineers will tell you what the codes are for that particular location. So for example, for this property I'm constructing, I was told that the property can be constructed up to the edge of the lot in front. In other words, there is no setback required for the house at this location in the city. Now that is part of a building code, but you couldn't find that by looking it up in some book, right? You need to go to the city engineers, and the city engineer needs to look at the transport, and from the transport will determine whether that code applies to your property. So that, for example, is one of the things that you can learn from the transport and from the city engineer about the building code. So there's no way for you to get access to the building codes. The building codes will be told to you once you present your transport to the city engineers. Number 4, you need to have a soil test done. In other words, the city engineer will tell you whether you need to have a soil test done. The first thing the city engineer asked me is how many stories, how many floors of building I wish to construct. And the requirement is that if you're planning to build a building that is more than 3 stories tall, that is 4 or 5 or 6 stories tall, then you need to have a soil test done. That will require them to take soil samples from 1 or 2 or 3 locations, each at a cost of about 500,000 Guyana dollars. So that would cost you about $1.5 million, which approximately is about 7,000 US dollars, right? So $1.5 million to have soil tests done if you plan to construct a house that is over 3 stories tall. So that's number 4. Number 5 is you need to have plans or building plans. Now the building plans are going to tell the city engineer immediately whether you wish to construct a building that is over 3 stories tall, and that will immediately incur a cost of soil inspection. You also need to have a building plan to tell the city engineers the kind of building that you want to construct, whether it's a modern building, it's a traditional building, whether it's one of these historical buildings, you want to keep the heritage of the city. So a building plan, a plan for how you wish to proceed with your construction, will let the city engineers know. I'll give you a picture of the plan that I presented. This is a plan of simple 3-dimensional drawing that I had drawn up as a first draft to the house that I wish to construct. Number 6? Number 6 is then you need to have drawings, right? So drawings, construction drawings for the house, for each elevation, for each level, and detailed drawings for the materials that you want to use, how the house will be put together. Those details are going to be needed by the city engineers. In fact, they have their own draftsmen, and they would definitely like you to use their draftsmen, but you do need construction drawings to be presented to the city engineers, to be approved by the city engineers before you can proceed with the construction. Number 7 is you need a general, well, first of all, you need a surveyor. You need to have the property surveyed to verify that the land, the boundaries are in fact where they should be, right? You need to know where the fence is, who's responsible for the fence, and you need to know how far each face of the building is located from the boundaries. In my case, for example, there is an easement for a driveway for access to houses in the rear, and they need to know exactly where the property will be located, and they would like to preserve that driveway, and those details are going to have to be surveyed by a land surveyor, right? So this is entirely different from the soil survey that's done. Number 8 is you need to have a contractor, a general contractor, to oversee the construction of your building. And number 9, which it goes without saying as an extra, is you need financing. You need to line up your financing so that you know exactly how much it costs and how you're going to spend the money, and you need to have access to that finance before you begin constructing the building. You don't need all of the money at the beginning, but you do need enough to start. That is to pay for things like the soil survey, foundation, perhaps even demolition if you're going to need to remove a building before you put that up, and you need enough to get started. So there guys, those are the 8 or 9 things that you will need to know before you construct a new building. And because of the situation now, the rising price of housing, the housing bubble that is ongoing, inflating in the United States, it might make sense for you to look into constructing your own home because it might work out to be cheaper. You get to build exactly the design you want. You get to demand the quality that you want, and you get to invest your ideas, your personality into your property rather than competing for a property that everybody is bidding for. So that's it, guys. Those are the things you need to know before building in Guyana. If you're ready to build in Guyana and you can think of other things from your experience that you need to know before constructing, leave them in the comments below. Also in the comments below, tell me what your experience has been, whether it be in the States, in Canada, or anywhere else in the world, what your experience with constructing new homes have been, and share any experience or advice you have for new home builders anywhere in the world in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, share this video with friends and family around the world, click the notification bell so that you can be told whenever there's new videos posted on this channel. Remember, share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana. Later!